And I used to kind of think that, well, me taking it is taking it away from somebody else. And I come to find out that's not the case at all. There's enough for everybody. Rich Crombie, U.S. Navy, 1978 to 86. I did try to go to some local VSOs here in town, and they were somewhat discouraging. They said, well, the VAs, it's a tough nut to crack. There's a lot of paperwork, and there's a lot of it takes tenacity and a way to get through the system. So it's going to be pretty difficult. So that in itself is a little discouraging. Then, so when I saw the ad, I thought, okay, well, maybe these guys know, a better way or an easier way, or they're a little bit more in tune with it. And as it turned out, I was right. Actually, I got to 100 for tinnitus. And then through the process, it jumped to 60, and then 80, and then 100, all within about a 1 year's time frame. Most definitely is. I mean, because now, because the conditions that I have, not to get too deep, and they do affect day-to-day life, and sometimes you don't know how that's going to affect you and your ability to earn an income or to maintain a lifestyle or anything. Not that I have an extravagant one, it's not about that. It's just having that security. I think that's the biggest thing, is just knowing that security is there, and that no matter what, things are going to get taken care of, whether, financially or medically, or, through the VA system and, the health system. And so, that peace of mind is really worth a lot. Oh, gosh, probably 30 years. It's been a long time. I don't know. I just never thought that it was something that I either earned or deserved or anything, and just sort of, I wasn't wounded in combat or anything like that. So I just sort of figured that was, these were things that should be reserved for those folks. I did have that mindset for the longest time, and there's still a part of me that wants to make sure that people who are, really deserving, and as it turns out, we all are deserving in our own way. We all had our challenges. We all had time away from family, and, stressful situations, and, physical impairments of different varieties. And so, we're all deserving of, that's what it's set aside for. It's there for you to utilize. And, if you don't take advantage of it, you're missing out. And the fact is, and I used to kind of think that, well, me taking it is taking it away from somebody else. And I come to find out that's not the case at all. There's enough for everybody. I think the main thing was working with the same person all the time. And if I may, I worked with Brian, who was a veteran himself. And, he was really paying attention to what my specific challenges were, what, my specific experience was, and helped me navigate it. So it was kind of the communication between each other, whether it was video conference calls, scheduled conference calls, or just, I could email him a question or whatever and get a response back, almost immediately with whatever question it was. And then, if he felt it was something we needed to have a call about, so that would take a little bit more time, he would take the time. So he was really knowledgeable and respectful, and I really appreciated that. And as it turned out, everything that he knew was exactly what we needed to do and get accomplished. And, so here I am today with the rating that I have. And, that was probably the most, it's just that personal experience, that personal touch. I could tell in just conversation with a guy that, he was just like me. He was a vet, and, could understand the system and the process and what we were going through and what I was going through, and could relate, so it was that personal service. No, I would definitely recommend that. In fact, I have a brother who served similar to me, and I'm going to get him, signed up to go with you guys. And if you can qualify for it, if you can get it, then that's great. But I think just getting the help along the way to make sure, they've just, so like Brian specifically, but the company, the VETCOMM was like, let's make sure you're getting everything. Let's not leave anything behind. If there is something to be left behind, let's make sure we get it. If there's nothing, then fine. We've still helped you in the best way possible, and you're getting everything you're supposed to get, and that's the end result that I think everybody wants.